What is up, YouTube? This is your host, Ranee B, bringing you that homicidal tea. Now, today, we're going to be talking about a true crime story unlike any that we've ever talked about on this channel. In this case, we're not going to talk about anybody that dies. There are no homicide victims. There are no cases that went cold. But there are plenty of homicidal bastards afoot. In this case, the bad guys are the good guys, and what seems real is all lies, and in the end, no one dies. Girl, you better recognize, I had to, I'm sorry. But actually, in the end, sometimes you have to realize you have to outwit the nitwits. And with that, I need you to please hit, I didn't even plan on that one. Wow, please hit that like and subscribe button, just if you feel sorry for me, because I can't rap. But we're going to go ahead and start the case of Noela Rukundo. Noela Rukundo was a refugee that moved from Burundi to Melbourne, Australia in 2004. Her and her 5 children went there to start a new life. She met a fellow Congolese refugee named Balenga Kalala during her emigration. Kalala was a forklift operator who came to Australia after his wife and his children were killed by the rebel army in the Congo. Yikes. Because they both spoke Swahili, a social worker thought it'd be a good idea for Kalala to translate for Noela. Well, this became an item that they bonded over, and they fell in love pretty quickly and then got married soon after. They had 3 children over the next couple of years together, and after a while, the marriage started to disintegrate. Kalala started totally accusing Noela of cheating on him, despite the fact that she had never given any airs of that, and there was absolutely no proof. Even to this day, there's still no proof that she ever did anything against him. But Noela also always denied this, and she thought that her husband would eventually move on and stop being so paranoid. But Kalala was convinced, and his way of dealing with it was getting rid of her, as in killing her. So he devised a strategy. When Noela returned to Bujumbura in Burundi in January of 2015 for her stepmother's funeral, she received a call from her husband while she had been resting at the hotel. Now, it had been a long day, and she was understandably extremely tired. But they talked on for a while on the phone, and he suggested that she step outside for some fresh air because she sounded really stressed. When she opened the door, she was immediately confronted by an armed man that took her to a vehicle where 2 more armed men were waiting inside. She was blindfolded and led to a warehouse where she was cuffed and bound to a chair. They didn't kill her, though. Instead, they told her everything. Her husband had given them about $7,000 to murder her, and they refused to carry it out because they didn't believe in killing women or children. Aw, nice murderers. Well, the kidnappers instead would inform Kalala that the job was complete, keeping his money, and then releasing Noela. But she didn't believe them, and she refused to even acknowledge that her husband would have anything to do with this. So to prove it to her, the kidnappers phoned her husband Kalala and put him on speakerphone. They asked him what they should do with her now that they'd kidnapped her, and Noela listened as she heard her husband say, "Kill her." Whoa. Noela actually fainted when she heard this. It was at this point that Noela was reported missing in Bujumbura, and her brother started to become very concerned and was desperate to find her. He contacted Kalala, and he requested that Kalala send money to him so they could investigate her disappearance. Kalala sent the money to her brother, and that's when the investigation started. Now that blows my mind. Send money for what? The police? What? Dude, you best get here as soon as damn possible when I dial 911 because my dog got out of the fence and is missing, and you better get here fast. And that is a true story. I called 911 when I found out that my little dog got out, and I'm not sure what the officers thought whenever they got there at 6 a.m. and I was drinking a whiskey on the rocks and had mascara running down my face, forlornly squeaking a toy saying, "Bachi, Bachi." Yeah, so that's how law enforcement rolls in small town Texas. But that was 18 years ago. And side note, we did find a dog. Yay. But anyway, I cannot imagine having to pay the police to come out and work. That is like, wow, honestly. I have been living in my own little entitled bubble, apparently, because I didn't even know there were places in the world where that had to happen. I can't imagine that having to place a deposit for police work. That is honestly, I mean, like, I must have been living in an entitled bubble because this is the first time that I've ever heard of this. Anyway, sorry I got sidetracked. On February 19, 2015, the kidnappers took Noela to a remote location and dropped her off on the side of the road. They also gave her all the evidence that she would need to help lock her husband up for what he'd done. Snapshots of the phone conversations, recorded calls, voicemails, payment receipts, just a whole memory card full of stuff. But the kidnappers left Noela with a warning. They said, "You have 80 hours," which is a strange number, "to leave this country. We are not the only contract killers here that were contacted. I can assure you that. You are not safe, and they're not going to spare you like we did." Like, I wish I had access to a forensic psychiatrist. Like, what was going on in her mind? Kidnapper man, thank you. Thank God I'm alive, but thank God these kidnappers and murderers were so nice. I mean, oh my gosh, but now that I'm safe, I want to go somewhere that's my place of comfort because, you know, that place where I used to trust. Oh, wait, that's where the man lives that orchestrated my death. Like, how long does it take to turn from, how did this happen? He's the father of my children and the man that I, formed a new life in a country with, to, oh, hell no, game on, motherfucker. Well, apparently it doesn't take too long because she hauled ass straight to the Kenyan and Belgian embassies to get back to Australia. She also called her pastor, explaining how extremely important that it was for him not to see anything because she was about to get her revenge on old boy. Meanwhile, in Melbourne, Kalala told Noela's relatives that she died in an accident. He held her funeral at their home on February 22nd, 2015. Now, since this pastor knew what was going on, he relayed this information to Noela to assist her in her plans to let the truth be known. That same day, at the funeral, parked out in front of her own house, from a car in tinted windows, she watched as her loved ones started leaving her house after the memorial, funeral, whatever they call it. And it was showtime. Boom! She opened the car door and stepped out like a damn boss. Kalala feigned all this. Oh my gosh! And he started touching her. Are you a ghost? Are you a ghost? She's like, surprise, I'm still alive. I like to actually think that it went down more like this.
Surprise, motherfucker.
I mean, so for story's sake, we're going to retell it like that. Kalala started freaking out. He took her aside. He started begging and apologizing for just trying to ask for forgiveness for everything he'd done. But it was too late. See, Noela had already called the police. And unknown to Kalala, law enforcement had already obtained a court order against Kalala and was secretly recording him as he admitted to Noela that he had placed a hit on her life. As he was begging for mercy from her, police arrested Kalala right on the damn spot. And at first he started denying about the murder for hire, which he dropped the innocent act once the recordings were made clear to him that he was a cooked goose. On December 11th, 2015, he was sentenced to 9 years in prison. At his sentencing, Chief Justice Marlene Warren said, had Mrs. Rukundo's kidnappers completed the job, 8 children would have lost their mother. It was premeditated and motivated by unfounded jealousy, anger, and a desire to punish Miss Rukundo. Which leads me to ask, why only 9 years? Guess what? In 9 years, her ass had better be living in densely populated LA, New York City, or some little hidden farm in Iowa or Nebraska somewhere, because crazy like this don't die down easily. She has a target on her back as long as this insane motherfucker's alive. Reinforcing my stand on the death penalty. Boom, 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 injection, 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 and then boom, done. But also, these kidnappers, they were the heroes in this case? Yay for kidnappers. No. They, I am sure, have taken families apart, torn them apart bit by bit, murdered brothers, best friends, uncles, fathers. They're probably devastated the lives of countless people in their area. And just simply because they were paid a certain amount. They're the good guys here? Oh my gosh. Anyway, fine. Now kidnappers, come here. If you have a little secret, little dirty secret, and you need to keep it from your other gangster buddies, I ain't going to tell anybody. If you have a little penchant for watching a middle-aged pudgy woman to retell stories of revenge and victims getting their voices back, finish this job and go aim for Kalala this time. Do it for us here at YouTube. You know, like this kind of stuff. I didn't say that though. I'm kidding. even though I do think he lost his right to breathe the same air as we did. Anyway, but that is it for this case today. It's a pretty short one, but still a cool one. It's the case of Noela Rukundo. If you want to go look it up on Google or whatever, it's Rukundo. Oh, girl. And I try to get some updates, and I can't find anything from like 2016. So if you guys find something, please let me know in the comments, or just you can direct message me on Twitter or on Instagram. It's Twitter at homicidal T, and then on Instagram it's homicidal_T. I don't know who took homicidal T. There's another weirdo out there. Follow me. We need to hook up. Anyway, I just want to go ahead and ask you to hit a big like for the upgraded audio. I got a new microphone that cost more than I ever thought I dreamed I'd pay for something like this. But hey, it's all for you, my YouTube friends, so that I can talk about true crime like this and everyone else thinks I'm weird babbling on about DNA and trace evidence. But they would be right. See you in the next video real soon, because it's so easy to do now. I have so many scripts written. And I want to record another one right now, but I'd have to change because I don't want y'all to think that I only have a couple of things closed, which is actually the case, but whatever. Talk to you later. Bye.